welcome back. Part 2 of our crucial case law series. This is Beyond the Red and Blues. I'm Tyler. This is Zach. We're going to start off with the answer to last week's. Does Pennsylvania MIMS allow you to order the driver out of the vehicle in that scenario that I gave you? The answer is yes. And I remember the second question, does the fact that you're in a high crime area legally change your authority to order that person out of the vehicle? And the answer is no. And they're both for the same reason. Pennsylvania MIMS stated that the police officer can order someone out of the car for any reason at any time. This week, we're going to get into Illinois versus Wardlow, case from 1999, decided in 2000 by the Supreme Court.
So Illinois versus Wardlow decided the flight plus one rule, if you guys have heard of that. If you haven't, then hopefully you learn it by the end of this. The case, like I said, was decided in 2000. Sam Wardlow was stopped in a high crime area of Chicago known for heavy narcotics. He was holding a bag in his hand and fled upon seeing police officers. They caught him and conducted a pat down of his person and also located a firearm on him. And the courts basically said that it was a violation because they had no reason to stop him, and that someone can flee from the police because you're able to go on your own way. However, Supreme Court basically said, does unprovoked flight warrant enough for a detention? And in this particular case, they said there was enough, but it cannot be just a general rule that unprovoked flight is enough. So what does that mean? So in this case, there were articulable facts that crime was afoot, and the unprovoked flight pairing with it was enough grounds or basis for a detention. So a detention is basically a belief that a crime has occurred, is occurring, or will occur based on some articulation. So in this case, the guy was holding a bag in an area known for heavy narcotics, and he fled from the police. So based on these articulable facts, the crime that they believe that occurred is likely narcotic sales. And we can infer that because when they did a pat down of this person, they articulated that he is likely selling narcotics, and people who sell narcotics typically carry weapons. And in this case, he was carrying a weapon. So as long as the flight is not the sole basis for your detention, because someone running from you isn't enough for you to say that a crime has occurred, will occur, or is occurring. So as long as you can pair the flight with other articulable facts that you believe that there's some crime afoot, then you are able to include it. But that's where this flight plus one comes from. It requires flight plus at least another articulable fact that you can determine a crime is occurring, or has occurred, or will occur. So there is a list of articulable facts up on the screen here so that way you can get an idea of what some of these look like. But things such as high crime area are going to be included in that list. Baggy, oversized clothing, the time of night, and there's a whole handful of them that have been decided throughout the years in recent cases.
You know, more simple terms almost, like if you saw a jogger or a runner, you can't just stop them just because they looked at you and continued running. You know, there's got to be more to it. But obviously there's a little bit more. All right, so for this week's challenge question, I'm going to run you through a quick scenario. So let's say it's late at night. You know, as the cop, right, you see a man walking through a high crime area known for recent car break-ins, which is quite common, especially late at night. When he sees you, though, he kind of has this nervous look on his face, and then he, darts down an alley that's behind him. Are you then allowed to follow and lawfully detain him based on just that? That's all you have. You only saw him for 20 seconds or so. Is that enough? Yes or no? And next week, we'll give you the answer.
All right, cool. If you guys are curious about any other case laws, again, we're trying to hit the big ticket case laws that are more nationwide. But if you guys have any in mind, please let us know. And if you guys are curious about Pennsylvania versus MIMS or Maryland versus Wilson, we did that last week. Make sure you guys go check that out.
Yep. So we'll keep going. Stay tuned.
See you guys next week.